What's up guys, Brallus here, and I'm here with my review of Remedy Entertainment's Control, the spiritual successor, I guess, in the same realm as Alan Wake for this generation of consoles. Now before I jump into it guys, this video is going to be a little bit different. I feel like this one is going to be a little controversial in a sense, and I feel like this one is going to anger a lot of people. And this isn't on purpose guys. I don't make these videos and these reviews to anger people or to trigger people. I pride myself on providing real, honest, unpaid, no bullshit reviews. What this means is I don't board the hype train like everybody else, and I don't allow myself to be sucked into the black hole that is the echo chamber of hypeness, right? I don't even know if that makes any sense, but you get what I'm saying.
Stay on target.
So rather than call this an actual review, I'm going to go through the presentation, the graphics, and the whole lot of it, but I'm also going to be doing kind of an overview and kind of go into the history of Remedy Entertainment, the games that they've made, and how this compares to games like Max Payne and Alan Wake. Because if any of you guys know me, I'm a massive, massive fan of the Max Payne series. I own all three of them for multiple consoles and PC. I love them. They're some of my favorite noir story-driven games. And, I naturally, being that this game is made by Remedy Entertainment, the same company that made Alan Wake, Max Payne, I'm going to have my comparisons. And I'm also going to be providing my real, honest review of this game. So it's not necessarily a review, but more of an over-review. So, guys, this is a new genre for Talk Gaming. We're going to call this the over-review of Control. So what is the story with Control? What is all this about? So this is going to be a little bit difficult to explain without spoiling, and I'll tell you guys there are no spoilers in this review, so you are safe. But basically, the overview of this game is you play as Jessie Faden. She is an employee, I'll just say that, of this company called the Federal Bureau of Control, the FBC. And they're a secret U.S. government agency tasked with containing and studying different phenomena that violate the laws of reality. So basically, they're a paranormal study branch of the government. Now, what happens to drive the narrative of the story is there's a rupture in the reality, and these enemies called the Hiss come through into the normal reality and kind of invade and corrupt our reality and corrupt different objects. So you'll see a lot of floating staplers and different objects that are possessed by the Hiss, and you have to calm them. You have to control them in a sense, and then you have to take out the Hiss. And there's a deeper story to it. I'm not going to say exactly who it is, but there's a family member of yours that has gone missing that also worked for the Bureau. And part of the side story of the game is you're trying to figure out not only how to defeat the Hiss, but also how to save your brother. Oh shit, I just said it. Well, overall, the story is really cool. It gets a little try hard at times, I guess you could say. Like it tries a little too hard to subvert expectations and to kind of confuse you and seem mysterious. I get what they're going for, and I really, really appreciate it, and I really like it because I love Sam Lake's writing. If you guys don't know, Sam Lake is the guy who wrote all the Max Payne games, Alan Wake as well. He works for Remedy Entertainment. He was also the poopy face of Max Payne in the first Max Payne game. So, yep, director Poopy Face.
Hell yes.
For real, though, he is one of my idols and a goddamn creative genius, so I can't really talk shit. Anyways, the story overall is a really intriguing story. It's really cool to see how it unfolds as far as your family members go and how you really got entangled in this whole web, and there's a lot of mystery surrounding how everything happened and what you know. So it's really cool. It's a really intriguing story. I won't talk about it anymore because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. So let's talk about the graphics. This is one thing I can stand at the top of a mountain and scream praises over, guys. This game is f***ing beautiful. You're beautiful. And I'm not talking about just the textures. The textures look great. The lighting looks fantastic. Jessie herself and the characters that you interact with, they look good. Especially Jessie. You're beautiful. But what really catches your eye is the amount of destructibility that this game has. Like, I'm talking, you can destroy everything. Like, everything. You see a pillar there? Punch it. You'll fucking destroy it. You see that bathroom right there? You want to take your rage out on lunch break? Fucking destroy it. It's just really amazing how a game that's coming out near the end of the console cycle is pushing the limits still and pushing the boundaries. And that's one thing that Remedy Entertainment, 505 Games, and even Sam Lake have always done with their games is they've always pushed to the next level, and they've always gone above and beyond what everyone's doing, and they take their time, and it really shows here. But of course, with that, near the end of the console generation, pushing all this extra beef, there are some technical issues. For example, when shit gets really rough, the frame rate will drop to sometimes 10 frames per second. I've gotten stuck in a few objects here and there, but other than that, that's really it, guys. I mean, besides a few frame rate drops, which are few and far in between, I guess, it doesn't really bother me that much. Sound-wise, the sound is great. Sound is excellent. Your pistol sounds meaty. The voice acting is on point. The voice acting is tremendous, guys.
I'm here to check Darling's Black Rock lab.
So to recap, death, disaster, and imminent destruction.
This is one thing I will give massive props for, is the actors they choose. Now, I did have my little fanboy freak out when I heard James McAfee, the voice of Max Payne, was in the game. He plays a G-Man, the mysterious G-Man. You don't know what he's doing. You don't know what his backstory is. It kind of comes together near the end. But when I heard that voice, that familiar Max Payne voice, I lost my shit.
This threat. Shit attack.
Oh shit, that's James McAfee. That's Max Payne himself. Oh shit, he's in the game! Max Payne! One of my favorite sounds in the game as well is when you use your telekinesis power and you pull objects to you. It makes like a high-pitched, squealing, screaming sound. That sounds like you're manipulating a vortex of time or reality, kind of like Doctor Strange. It makes this awesome, cool, pulley sound.
Of course.
Overall, though, guys, the sound design was excellent. I really enjoyed the way the guns sounded. I like the voice acting. I like the enemies and the creepy, strange voices that you hear when you're navigating around the map. It's just very atmospheric, and that's what matters and what counts nowadays, because there aren't many games that do that correctly now. I will say, guys, there was this really, really cringe alternative rock song that played that made me want to, like, pull my ears off my face.
No! I'm stuck in this room with this fucking song!
But the biggest issue with that was that it was during one of the most difficult levels of the game, and I kept dying. So every time I died, it'd have to restart the song, and I'd have to listen to it again. And it was just so bad.
Oh, fuck! Oh my god, are you kidding me? I gotta do it all again? That song is fucking terrible.
But anyways, you guys are probably like, well, where's the controversial part? You know, where's the controversy, right? Where's it gonna complain? Is it gonna complain about the game? Well, here it is, guys. Let's talk about the gameplay. Now, if you're a fanboy, you can just pack up and fuck off. But I'm going to get real with you guys, okay? I'm going to tell you what these news outlets like IGN, GameSpot, and all them that are giving it 8s and 9s and 10s and what they're not telling you. First of all, the actual controls of the game and the movement for Jessie herself are fantastic. They work perfectly fine. Everything's great in the control area. But gameplay-wise, the pacing of the game is just something I had an issue with.
Oh, no.
What I loved about Max Payne and Alan Wake was that they were linear story-driven games, and they didn't conform to like the norm of the open world RPG, action, shooter, or whatever that everything else is nowadays. And the biggest issue I had with Control was that they conformed. They fucking did it. I knew they would.
No, Lloyd!
It's a fantastic game on the surface, right? The surface level review is that it's a great game, right? And a lot of people are going to really enjoy it, and people are going to love the open world aspect. But the problem I had with it is that it's been done 100 times before. It's like a mix of like Borderlands and like an MMO. So for example, you get 4 or 5 different, I guess you can call them not biomes, but levels, right? And these levels have a big map in each one. And fuck the map, by the way. The map is the worst. It's like a Metroidvania / Castlevania style map that just makes absolutely no fucking sense.
Where's dimensional research? That's nowhere near here, is it? I don't know, because the map won't load.
And most of the areas are hidden behind a progression wall for the main story. So you'll do a lot of backtracking, stuff like that. But the problem is, you know, like Borderlands, you go from world to world in different warp zones, like just like in this game. But the issue is that when you revisit worlds, you have to refight all the enemies that you've already fought, and it just gets kind of tedious. And by the end of the game, guys, honestly, I was just ready for it to be over. I was doing a stream, and I had some people watching the stream, and one of them said, like, you just sound very fatigued, like you're just ready to be done with the game. And I was like, I am. I mean, there's a lot of different side quests you can do. The main story is there, obviously, but obviously, if you want to get the coolest powers, you have to obviously do the side quests that lead you to control points and items that you have to, that are possessed, that you have to take over in order to get the next set of powers, in order to get skill points as well to upgrade your skill tree. But the thing that was gnawing at me the entire time was that it just felt so samey compared to everything else. And what Max Payne and Alan Wake did so good is that they had linear progression paths. You know, they didn't have revisiting areas, and it just felt like a lot of padding and a lot of fluff compared to an actual story. And what that does is it pulls you away from the immersion of the story, and the story that's already confusing enough to where you start fucking around doing different stuff, you know, quests in the game. It just pulls away from the immersion. You kind of forget what you're doing. You don't really feel as attached to Jessie and Faden and her, you know, family members and the other characters like you should. And it just didn't have that same character building experience and same relation that you feel to Max Payne, you know, going through what he's going through. And also, you know, side characters like Mona, Vinny, right? They didn't have that. And I felt like it just really pulled away from the immersion of the game. And I just, personally, this is in my opinion, guys. Everything's an opinion, right?
Here it comes!
But I'm just tired of everything going open world. Look at Metro Exodus, right? Metro Exodus went open world as well, and I feel like it kills the story. Sometimes I like to just sit down and follow the normal linear progression path, like in the original 2 Metros, Max Payne, all 3 of them, Alan Wake, and I like to just get a story. I like to be immersed in the story and have a continuous story and not take breaks from the story to go do side stuff because the gameplay is really cool. And I will say, guys, that the gameplay is so good. Throwing shit at people's faces feels amazing. Picking up people and just whipping them across the map feels great. But that's the main reason I kept coming back to finish the game, was that the gameplay was so good. And the problem is that there's only about 4 or 5 different enemy types. There are some bosses, which I won't spoil because they are a main part of the story. But you fight the same, like, 4 or 5 different enemy types. And, like, you know, there's a guy in a floating wheelchair. There's, like, your big, you know, typical MMO type guys that have a shield around them. And you got to take out the smaller ads first, because they're what, you know, they're gonna grind you down. And then you got the bigger guys that you really gotta, they're bullet sponges, right? And Max Payne, Alan Wake weren't like that. They didn't have those like hella spongy enemies. They had your regular guys. They overwhelmed you with all the regular, you know, ads. And then you got up to a boss fight. And maybe call me just old school, guys, but I'm tired of games thinking that they have to conform and go open world in order to appeal to people. Like, what happened to the days when you got a great story in a game and a game just immersed you in its world and didn't pull you out and throw a bunch of padding around you to keep you, you know, immersed in a 15-20 hour experience? Because, guys, you can power through this main story in probably 7 to 8 hours if you really put your head down and grind. You can do it maybe even less than that. And this is a $60 game, guys. And this is a time when all of these other releases are starting to come out and pre-orders are going up. Don't ever pre-order, by the way.
Well, I'm not going to, ever. Even if there's a fire.
But this is prime time holiday season for video game releases, right? It's right around the corner. So you're going to be contemplating whether to spend your money on this game or not. There are some really cool elements and callbacks back to Max Payne and Alan Wake, where they have like the different creepy TV shows, and like Max Payne had the soap opera, that really overly dramatic soap opera with like a bunch of still pictures and stuff like that. It was really off the charts, ridiculous. And this game, Control, has it as well. They have like this creepy puppet show.
Hey, man! What are you trying? I'm trying to talk!
I'm drawing the pyramid.
And they have like a lot of audio tapes, some calls back to Alan Wake. I think there's like 4 Easter eggs for Alan Wake and the papers that you pick up around the map, like the little collectibles. So that was cool. But overall, guys, I mean, just by the end of it, I didn't feel like I was enjoying myself, honestly. Like, it just felt like so samey to everything else I've played, and it was kind of a letdown. Again, it's unique and innovative as far as the telekinesis goes, but I mean, look at games like Psyops or Second Sight back in the day, back on original Xbox. Those games did telekinesis and superpowers so well, and they had a linear story, linear progression path, and it was great. You can upgrade your characters, give them, you know, more powerful abilities and things like that, and they just did what they did so well. And I was hoping that Control would be in the realm of Max Payne as far as the noir story-driven aspect, and that it would have the gameplay and progression of a game like Psyops or a game like Second Sight. And I left kind of disappointed. But that's my biggest issue with this game, guys. So overall, Control, a $60 game, single player only. Single player is not dead, guys. It is a great game. It's a fun game. If these little things don't bother you, more power to you. You're gonna have a great time. But if they do, if you were expecting a Max Payne style noir-driven story, you could pick the game up and just power through the main story. But then again, you won't get the best abilities and things like that, and you won't really get your money's worth for $60. If you're looking for a hardcore story-driven single-player game, I can't recommend Control as that. This is why I don't rate my reviews off scores, guys, because it's unfair. If I had to give this game a rating, it would be a 7.5, but I don't board the hype train, and I'm waiting for the honeymoon phase to end, and I feel like this game, Control, is going to be one that comes and goes, and it won't be as memorable as Alan Wake or the Max Payne series. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Like I said, pick it up if you've got the extra money. If not, I would honestly wait for a sale. I would wait for a $29.99 sale, something around there, for you guys to really maximize your spending. There are a lot of games coming around the corner that you could be saving up for, and that's the purpose of this channel, guys, is I want to provide you guys real, honest, heartfelt, no bullshit, non-shill, non-paid reviews, right? So you guys can go out and spend your hard-earned money on games that you'll get the most bang for your buck. And unfortunately, Control just really didn't do it for me, guys. Other than that, that's all I have, guys. So thank you for tuning in. Let me know what you guys think in the comments of Control if you picked it up. Whether you agree or disagree, let me know. If you guys are on the fence about it, let me know where you stand now. But be nice.
Don't be a dick. Don't be an asshole.
Check out our social media links in the description as well. Please like and share the video if you guys enjoyed it. And I will see you guys on the next Talk Gaming review.
Make it stop! Make the guitar stop! It's so bad! Dude, did you see what she did? Did you see what she did? She couldn't even take the song. She covered her fucking ears. I swear to God, she covered her ears.